Welcome back. Today I'm working on trying to make this little toy box for the miniatures. Okay, let's show you real quick. Now mine, I am actually going to insert these little side beams into it a little bit differently. So what I've done is I've cut out the sides. Alright, I am using balsa wood and then a thinner piece of balsa wood. See the difference when you put them side by side? That's those. Okay, so basically I just drew my template on a piece of graph paper and then I traced it on here so I knew what I had. And the very side pieces are going to be longer than the middles. Okay, you can see the difference in the size. Okay, so I traced them all. These are my sides. These are my middles. My middles were like this, and I decided that I wanted to cut them out because I wanted to make sure that when I took my rail, I could just kind of set it in there and I didn't have to worry about having to fool with it. Okay, so I cut those out. You can have either two, like they did, or you can make yours, oh, excuse me, I'm tired, or you can make yours a little bit longer and do 3. It's completely up to you. I don't think it really matters much. But how I did this is I decided on the size that I was going to need by the thickness. So I determined the thickness by putting this on top of here. And then I just drew a little line so I knew where I needed to cut. Now you're cutting with the grain, so you need to be careful because if you're not, you're going to split this all the way down and you don't want to do that. Okay, so the very first thing is you want to make sure it's flush with the bottom. Just like that when you're cutting it. So put some pressure on it once you get the 2 pieces at the bottom even, which mine aren't. They move that quick. Okay, so put them there. Then you're going to use either a razor knife or an X-Acto knife. Either one works. Okay, and you are going to very gently take your time. Don't press it too hard. Just go slowly until you get all the way through. Okay, when you get all the way through, then you're going to go down and press on that one, just like that. Okay, and then this little corner here, don't worry about cutting that off because you're going to take the sandpaper and you are going to actually sand that round. Okay, so you want to take your time, make sure you're going all the way through. Don't force it, just kind of press it and do it a couple times if you have to. Be very careful with your X-Acto knife or whatever you're using so you don't slice your fingers off. Okay, so now we just want to make sure that they're completely even with one another on the side. So we're just going to go down like that if we need to smooth out any edges and do that. That side was even. Okay, this side is not. It's a little bit off. Okay, not by much. But it's just like shaving a pencil to make it even. Okay, now they're even. Now to make sure you get the same roundness, I would do them together. Okay, and then that's how you would get that. Now, I don't think I'm going to use 3, but this is all you do. When you're doing it, just kind of go in a circular motion. Just like that, and it rounds it. Okay. Next thing you know, you got a nice little rounded corner. Now you don't have to round them if you don't want to, but I like the rounded look. I think it looks nicer. And then to get this part done, you can just kind of sand it like that. Or you could put it on the edge of a table. Either way. It works perfect. Okay? So that's how that's going to go. Now you're going to need to get your Elmer's glue. I'm using the Wood Max because it's waterproof and it's stainable. I would suggest that you get a separate sheet of paper for this so that you can put it on it, and then that way you can dip from that and get yourself a toothpick or a small wooden stick. Okay, so I always love the fact that people send me these magazines as junk mail because they always make for scrap paper. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is take my toothpick and my glue and get it on there. Okay, so with this one, we are going to be putting these on the side. Now, if you want yours to have a lip down here, you can do that, certainly. But if you are going to have a lip, you need to have something to judge that with. So make sure that you cut yourself an extra little piece of wood if you're going to have a lip. Okay, and then make sure your wood's not too thick to where, look, I'm just going to put that there just for purposes because I want to show you something. If it's too thick, then that's going to be above it. So you need to make sure that if you're going to make yours higher off the ground, that you don't want to have this too tall. Okay, I designed mine to be flat. Right, so I'm going to move this paper because I don't want to get glue on what I just traced in case I decide I want to make it again. I have this template. Okay, so after that, I have my two sides. They're going to go on each one. Okay. I'm going to put some glue right along this edge. Not so much that it's going to ooze all over the place, but you do want to put enough to where it's actually going to stick to what you're putting it on, okay? And actually, you might as well do the other side while you're at it. So now I'm going to stick this on here. I'm going to make it even. Now I'm going to take my second toothpick. I'm going to rub out that glue that's there. Okay. Now if you want to make sure that it's square, you can either have a miniature square or you can use part of the board that's left. Okay. And then we're going to stick the other side on over here. Oh, don't do that. I may have to put a little bit more glue on that one. I just didn't put quite enough. I was a little too sparing. would be why. Let's see. All right, now I've got the glue where I need it to be. Now we need to put these where we want them. Now if we're going to do 2 or 3, I was only going to do 2 initially, but now I'm not sure if I want to do 3 or not. Let me see. I have 3 cut. I guess 3. So I'm just using the same thickness of the board, and I'm marking it from the end where I want to put it. Okay, just kind of just lay it flat, just like that. And that way they're in the same exact space. Okay, and then I'm put it on the right side of the left line and on the left side of the right line, just like that. And you can put yours closer together if you want, further apart, whichever. It's completely up to you. Okay. So make sure you sand those flat if you didn't already, which I didn't because I stepped ahead. Okay. All right. So now that we have that, we need to get some glue on the bottom of these. Now, if you like, you can make a spacer with that before you put these on there so that you have it ready and you don't have to worry about it. Or you can cut a piece of canvas and put in there. Okay, so I decided to go with some canvas. That way I would know exactly where my lines were on the bottom and they wouldn't be messed up or separated or anything like that. Okay, and by doing that, it helps me out. So I'm going to put this right next to my canvas. Make sure I have it even. Remember, the canvas is just acting as a spacer. When we're done, we'll be able to remove that canvas. Hopefully I'm not in your way. I can't see the camera itself. Okay, so then there's that. Okay, so I have all of my canvas in there acting as my spacers. Okay, try to make them as level as you can. If you have a small wooden block, then you might want to put it there to make sure that they stay standing upright. Okay. Now, as far as the sides go, everything was done the way it's supposed to, then they should fit right in here. And we're going to just put some glue right along the edge. Okay, on both of those. Okay. And then on the very ends of this piece. sure your ends are nice and even. Push it all down in there and put it on top just like that. And theirs actually has screws in it and nails. Actually, they're like a screw with a Allen key end on it. So we can put one in the side there if we want to kind of make it look more realistic. Okay, so now that I have both of those on there, I went ahead and I made the miniature nail and I put it in there to look like theirs. You don't have to do that. That is completely up to you. Now you want to do the same exact thing to the other side with this one. And I'll show you, if you want to do the miniature nail, the easiest way to do it. Sorry, I'm getting more glue. I'm out of glue here on my page. So, got that on there. Got some glue on the bottom here. Alright. Now we need to put it in the middle like we have here. Okay, so now I have this all like glued together. I need to take here it is, my toothpick and get my excess glue out of there because I kind of went a little overboard on that one. Okay, so it's kind of looking like that. Now you have two options with the plastic, and you can do either one. You can put it in before you put this one here, or you can cut them individually and slide them down in here and just glue them to the back side of that. Okay, but to show you how to do this little nail, I'm going to show you that. I think you're going to prefer to do that little nail, but it's completely up to you. Okay, so you want to follow the nail tutorial that I have. If you look under the other videos, it's under there. But basically, you're just cutting a stick pin, throwing the bad half away, and keeping the good half. Okay, once you have the little nail, you're going to take a full-size stick pin. Be very careful not to stick yourself. And you're going to put it down through there just like that. Okay, now make sure you're even with the other nail. I didn't even pay attention to that, I just did it. So we're going to do that again. Okay, well, I hope you guys can see it. My battery is almost dead on my phone and the light just went out. So anyway, you're going to poke it through there and then you're going to find your hole that you just did and put it in there and get it started. Okay, and then you're going to put your stick pin in that same hole. Okay. And that's all you're going to do to get that to go through. Now, if you don't want to use glass, I mean, you could always use this canvas and put it in there like that and just fit it right in between, if you like. Now, to make your glass, you can use the canvas too and do it that way and use that as a template. Okay, so here's a whole piece And if we were to glue it, it would look like that. Now, if I was going to put it on the outside like that, I probably would use more of these little homemade nails and do it like that, because I wouldn't want to see that glue. And just kind of like put it through. But you make sure you do your little pre-drilling purpose and don't split it during that time. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to very carefully, hopefully, go through where I need to go through. Okay, so there is that, and then I'm gonna just go ahead and cut it right along there. Okay. Now, I'm using a soda bottle, so it has a little bit of a bend in it, but they do actually sell like a plastic sheet cover for doing like portfolios and things. So you could use that. I didn't cut it quite right. Let me trim it off a little bit. There we go. Alright, now I need to cut the top a little bit. And it'll fit right down in there. And that's what it would look like with the glass in there. Trim it a little bit more, and then I'm gonna go ahead and install this. I want all 6 pieces, and then I'll be back. Okay, one more thing I want to show you real quick. If you have a wood chisel like this, and you're going to put your glass on the inside, I would just very lightly press all the way across to make that groove. Okay. Actually, let me use this. You should have created a little groove right there. Now, of course, you can do all this prior to this. Whole putting it together thing. I didn't think about it until just now. But that way, when you put your glass in here, if I can get my fingers in there to put the glass in there, the glass will have somewhere to sit. That's it. Okay, I'll be back when I'm done. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I glued on the one whole side. Now, it occurred to me when I was doing this that you probably should see how to get this plastic in here if you're gonna route it out. Because, well, not really route it out, but like chisel a line out, because it is a little bit tricky. So I saved the other side so I could show you how to do that. And I'm using hot glue because my battery is almost dead on my phone, so I can't really go ahead and use the time to wait for the other glue to dry. Alright, so this side has it in there. I'm not sure if you can see it, but basically I'm using this little wood chisel, okay, and I'm hoping that you can see this, but I'm gonna put a little press in the wood. Now mind you, this is balsa wood, so it goes pretty easy in here. Okay, I'm just basically doing a little indentation. In there. Okay, and then I'm going to take the point and I'm going to go across it. Just to kind of get that out of there. Okay, so then it leaves me that little groove that I need for the plexi glass material. It's not really plexiglass, but it simulates it. And if you see there's that little groove, hopefully you can see it. I really can't tell if you can. It's very hard to see much because the battery is almost dead on this thing. But again. Okay, and just to kind of show you real quick, this is what we're going for. Okay, so anyway, in order to do this plexiglass, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to take your hot glue gun. Okay, so you're going to need to take your hot glue gun and run a little bead of glue right along here. Now, this would be a little bit less messy if you used like E6000 glue, and you would have more time to work with it if you did. Okay, so you're going to put that in there. You're going to let that cool. Remove the excess when you're done so that you're not seeing that. Okay, so then now you're going to take and go right across the top with just a little bit. Okay, gonna press that. You may want to use something other than your finger because hot glue will burn you. And that's how you put that in there. Now once it's all cool, you can get the leftover glue out of there with a pair of pliers or something that you can get your fingers down in there. I don't know, my fingers just do not want to go down in there, so I'm just going to use the pliers. But basically that's all you do. And if you want to take and use the grid as opposed to plexiglass, you can do that, and that would be fine. Okay guys, welcome back. Just a quick overview. We were making this little magazine toy box. It actually was in like a preschool magazine. Thought it was kind of cute. So, you know, ours has the plastic and everything in it, just like theirs does. But on the other side, I took some of the pictures out of the magazine and I made pretend toys. Okay, so there's ours, and there's theirs. Okay, so watch the entire video and you'll get an idea of how we did that. But we used balsa wood, some stick pens to make the fake nails, and some soda bottles to make the plexiglass. If you don't drink soda or you don't have any soda bottles, that's okay. You can go ahead and go to the Office Depot or your local like paper supply place, and they sell these sheets that are protective sheets for when you're doing portfolios, and you can get those and use them. They're the same thing, and I actually have a window tutorial showing you the exact name of them. So if you look under the window tutorials, you'll see that. Alright, well, thanks a lot, and don't forget to follow Dollhouse Miniature Madness and tutorials for more DIY. And I will talk to you next time.